Good morning, everybody. Look, as I said, my name's Tony Ozanne. I've given you the privilege of actually putting some of the content that I'm about to talk about so that you can read it, just in case you can't understand my Australian accent. So hopefully the two will work hand in hand. Look, I'm talking about franchising and bringing a franchise to Pakistan. And my background to why I'm talking about this is not just because I'm working with Pizza Hut here in Pakistan. It's because since I was 15, I've been associated with franchising in some form or another throughout my whole life. So I've been an employee in a company-operated store. I've been an employee in a franchise-operated environment. I've worked with the franchisor. I've worked with a franchisee. I've been a franchisee, and I've been a master franchisor. So my whole background has sort of been around this whole industry. So basically, I've worked with KFC and Pizza Hut my entire life. And one thing I've found about Pakistan is a lot of people in many retail or food or other categories have also worked with KFC or Pizza Hut or one of those places as well. So it seems to be an industry where we train, we develop, we get people and upskill them, and then they go off and they grow their career, which we think is awesome, okay? It's maybe not good at the time when you lose people, but it's awesome that we're developing leaders in various categories. You know, my colleague in Pakistan, who's the CEO of KFC, he used to work at Pizza Hut many years ago. Okay, so there's lots and lots of people out there that have that industry experience. Now, I also just want to obviously thank all you guys for being here today. It's great to see such a vast amount of Pakistan sort of leading leaders within the room, obviously my panel, and also thank you to Yusuf for giving me the opportunity to present today as well, because obviously I'm very humbled when I look at the list of speakers that you would take a little Australian to come along and say a few words as well. So I do greatly appreciate that. Look, my Pakistan experience began back in 2002. So although I've been here for just over a year now, I used to work with Yum Restaurants based in Dubai, where I was looking after KFC and Pizza Hut. And in 2003, I was given the Pakistan market to look after from a franchisor perspective. So I was in the region for 5 years or 5.5 years, and Pizza Hut was at a certain stage in its development. But now, having come back again after more than 10 years break, I've seen such a change in Pakistan. Look, I love Pakistan. Pakistan's an awesome place. Okay, regardless of the negativity it gets globally, I love the people, I love the country. So just seeing the change in what's happened in Pakistan, the change in the number of new brands, the change in the growth of the brands, and just the scope and the rapidness in which they're growing shows that something exciting is happening in Pakistan. So that's obviously driven a lot with the global trend of franchising, and that's why I wanted to talk about bringing a franchise to Pakistan, and hopefully my little technology will work. So I'll get into it. Okay, so there's clearly an opportunity. Okay, as I mentioned before, things are changing in Pakistan. There's lots of new brands. We're getting increased consumer awareness and knowledge. Our customers are getting a lot smarter than what they were many years ago, and I'm sure those in all areas of retail would agree with that the customer expects more. There are higher expectations, and many more people now have global or international experience. So they see these brands in different places. And look, we get feedback at Pizza Hut, and I'm sure KFC and other, for the clothing retail people, I will be focusing on sort of food retail, because that's my area of knowledge. We get feedback from customers who say, look, I came to Pizza Hut or I came to KFC and it wasn't the same as I had in the UK, or it wasn't the same as I had in Dubai, or it wasn't the same. So people have that expectation. The bar is increasing. The level of awareness of who your brand may be, whether you're clothing, whether you're food, whether you're anybody, is growing. So people expect more from us. I thought I could do this without my glasses, but clearly I can't, so lucky I got them. Okay, just a couple of statistics just to back up. and these are a year or so old. Look, Pakistan, when I got this information, was the 27th largest economy and 45th largest in actual dollar terms. The interesting part is, as a franchise category, it's worth around $24 million and growing. Okay, it's a growing sector. And obviously we see, just go to any of the new shopping malls, any of the new spaces that are developing, not only just in Lahore, but in Karachi and Islamabad, and even the outstations, you will see that more brands are coming on a weekly and a monthly basis. Okay, people are continually bringing more brands in. Okay, so it's going to continue to grow, and that number of 24 million is going to continue to grow, and the franchise sector is becoming a massive part in Pakistan. So what does this mean? Man, my thing's not working. Okay, many people in Pakistan have some cash, okay, which is awesome. Okay, it's a country of extremes. There's a lot of people who have money and they say, well, okay, how can I make this money work better for me? Okay, if they're cashed up, they say, let's go and get a brand. Let's bring a brand into the market because I can become rich and famous. I can put my name up on a pedestal. I think I'm too far away from the thing. I can put my name up on a pedestal and I can become somebody that people talk about in Pakistan. My level of respect and everything will grow. So I'm going to continue to grow. I'm going to bring a new brand in. It's going to go crazy. It's going to get really successful. And then I can keep bringing more and more brands and become this massive expert in Pakistan. Now, it should be easy, hey? Yeah, it should be easy. But the opportunities, it should be easy, but unfortunately it's not. And prospective opportunities will always be arising, okay? People will always be saying, it's the funny thing I've noticed about Pakistan is the people who have money, lots of people always want to talk to them. Oh, look, Mr. Tony, we've got this brand, bring this brand, why don't you buy this brand? So the opportunities will always be thrown at the people who have some available funds to do so. But it's important to understand that there are risks. It's not just a simple case of, I want to bring Pizza Hut into Pakistan, I'll just go and buy it, bring it, and alhamdulillah, everything's great. It doesn't work that way. Okay, there's steps that you should take before you get to that stage. Okay, so, but on the reverse side of that, you look around and you think, man, look at all these brands that are in Pakistan. Everybody's doing it. There's brands everywhere. Okay, my clicker's not working, and I've got cash. Okay, so I should be able to come into the market, but unfortunately there's lots of facts and myths and realities and truths and non-truths and warnings that you should be looking out for before you bring your brand into the market. And that's what I want to address. I just want to address some key, what I call myths about the whole franchising sector. So, and I will keep them short and sweet for you. Okay, but before we get there, the thing that a lot of people miss is they think, I've got the cash in my pocket, I've found a brand, I saw it on the internet, I want to bring it here, and they just go and buy it. I met somebody, and I won't say where, won't say what brand or anything like that. I met someone this week in a shopping outlet who was just about to open a new brand. And I heard the number that they had invested in bringing this brand and setting this brand up for one outlet. And it came from another country, okay, it came from a Western country. And this person said, I've just bought this brand, they've got 2 or 3 locations in this other country where they started, but I haven't even been there. And he's just invested a lot of money. We're talking in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, not rupees, and he hadn't even been there. So what level of research are we doing? Okay, if you've got the cash, don't waste the cash. You've got to use it smartly. Okay, you've got to do it smart. So do your research. And the thing I challenge you to think about is, what consumer habit, perception, or belief are you trying to create, influence, or change? So are you trying to create a new segment within Pakistan? Are you trying to change a particular industry? Or are you trying to influence the way people buy or use or consume or eat or whatever? What is it you're actually trying to do? Is there a gap in the market for your business opportunity that you're bringing in? There's no point. Look, I see in Australia, there's some fantastic home brew businesses, but do you think I could bring that to Pakistan? I don't think it'd go very well, okay? Making my own beer at home. It's probably not a smart, well, maybe it would, but it's probably not a commercial thing that I can go out and promote and advertise within Pakistan. So think about what it is you're bringing to the market. Don't just take, because everyone will try and sell you the brand of, that this is the best brand in the world. But is it the best brand in the world for you in Pakistan right now? Okay, so just please, please, please do your research on that. So here's a couple of myths. Okay, a lot of people think that it's easy. Once I'm going to buy a franchise, I've got the money, it's going to be easy. The franchisee will help me with everything. Okay, but unfortunately, that's really not true either. The franchisee will help you, and they'll give you advice, and they'll give you tips, and they'll do everything for you, probably until you get your money, sign the master franchise agreement, and then they'll probably step back a little bit, or maybe even step back a lot. And unfortunately, the reality will kick in, and you may be there by yourself. Okay, you've got a lot of things that you'll need to do by yourself, and I'll talk about some of those things as we progress. But you've got to, as I said, you've got to look at your research, and you've got to look at, is it the right thing for Pakistan? But the thing that they all quite often don't tell you, especially if your plans are to go big, is they don't tell you that you've got to set up your own infrastructure. Okay, you've got to set up your supply chain. You've got to be able to, they'll probably give you a list of suppliers you have to buy, but you have to actually have someone to buy them, to manage the logistics. Are you importing products? Are there customs issues? Are there fees? Are there charges? How do you do that? What type of approvals do you need to get? You've got to get a team. You've got to get your people. Okay, you've got to have your managers, you've got to have your team in the store, but if you start getting scale, like us, you've got to have, your above store team, you've got to have training teams, you've got to have your HR people, you've got to have marketing, you've got to have supply chain, as I said, you've got to have finance. We've got several hundred people working, behind the scenes just in our office in Karachi. We've probably got about another 20 or 30 people here in Lahore, and half a dozen in Islamabad, but then you've got the operations people and the training people, and that, for every 6 to 8 stores, we have one above store leader. And then the above store leaders, we have area coaches above them, and then we have general managers of operations. So you've got to put all these people in place, and they're people who aren't really generating income. It's the store that's making it. So will your model and will your business support that structure? Because you have to have it. And there's a difference between a good franchise and a bad franchise. Okay, a good franchise is one that I sort of define as one that actually is there with you and gives you the information and the structure and the system that you need to follow. I can't talk more highly about Yum Restaurants. Okay, they're one of the world's biggest franchises. It's a bit of a debate semantically whether we're bigger than McDonald's, but we say we have more outlets than McDonald's, but we're combining 3 brands, okay, because we have KFC, Pizza Hut and Taco Bell. But we've got about 45,000 restaurants globally, in more than 100 countries. We've got about 1.2 million people working for us globally. So they've got it pretty buttoned down in regards to helping. Okay, so a new franchise usually gets told and guided and directed. There's ratios. If you have 6 stores, you should have 6 to 9 stores. You should have 1 area manager supporting and managing and coaching and developing those stores. And there's different things in different functions. So we don't often think about the people. And you need your people. The big saying in Yum is people capability first, sales and profit will follow. Okay, a lot of people go chasing the buck, they market and do this big promotion where they can get people into the store, but if you don't have the people in the store trained and ready to execute, you won't get any revenue from it. So build your people capability, and then your sales and profit will follow as you move on. Okay, so back to the things that they don't always help you with, your systems, helping you with your purchasing, your marketing. They don't do all the marketing for you. A lot of people don't always understand how franchise works. A franchise is simply you buying the rights to use a brand. That's it. Okay, you're not buying, they should be giving me marketing. They should be giving me this. They should be giving me that. All you do is you have a license to use Pizza Hut, license to use KFC, and then they charge you fees along the way as well, just for the privilege. So you have to have your marketing people. You have to have a marketing structure, a marketing strategy, a plan. But these are the things we don't think about. So do your research and look into these. What does your franchise do? what does your franchise not do for you? You know, there's governance, utilities, assets. I think it was mentioned before by Shahid, it's very difficult to get locations, especially in Pakistan. You know, we're on a growth phase at the moment. You know, we opened 11 or 12 stores last year, and within next 2 years we'll have 100 stores from 73. We opened one last week, or this week. So we're building, we're growing, and we're going to be growing even more rapidly very soon. But I can't really talk about that just yet. But we're going to be going crazy in development, and the biggest frustration is getting locations. Okay, it's the biggest location. Either they're crap locations, or they want to charge. Once they hear that you're from an international brand, the price probably doubles, you know, depending on where it is. So we send people in stealth mode and say, oh, look, you know, hi, I'm Tony, I'm the local Pakistani man and I want to rent this building. And then they get a sniff that we're from a brand, and the price just continues to escalate. So you've got to be careful how you do that and how you get your sites. So your franchisee will not help you with everything. That's a myth. Okay, a lot of people think it's impossible to fail. Okay, I've got the money, but that may be equal to a lemon. Okay, hopefully you understand what that means. Okay, lemons are sour. Okay, so just because you've got the cash, it doesn't mean you're going to succeed. And let me tell you a personal story here. As I said, I worked with KFC and Pizza Hut in Australia and here for about 25 years. And then I woke up one day and said to my wife, I don't want to go to work anymore. And she said, quit. So I quit that day. Okay, I lose the passion, don't do it. Okay, that's always sort of been my philosophy. And I had the passion for 25 years, but I woke up and thought, no, bugger this. I'm not going to work. And she said, quit. And then I thought, well, shit, what am I going to do now? So I took some time off and did some traveling and all those sorts of things. But then I thought, well, I'll go into my own business. And I started looking down the food path and sort of got to a certain stage with some franchises. And then I thought, hang on a sec, if I do this, I'm probably taking my career back 20 years and I'll become like a store manager. I'll have to put up with, you know, terrible Australian teenage kids and obnoxious behaviour and all those things, which I just didn't want to do. I'll have to work from morning till late night every night of the week. I didn't want the hassle of a franchise. So I stopped again and went on some more trips and then decided I found something else. I found a business coaching business, or the industry. I'd never heard of it. I thought, hang on, that's what I've really been doing for the last X number of years. I've been helping the franchisees, I've been doing this, I've been working on business strategies and marketing and planning and everything. So I saw a big international franchise group and I found a little startup one. And I got into the startup one. I thought, maybe this is an opportunity. You know, the greed goggles probably kicked in. Here's an opportunity. I'll get in at the ground level, I'll grow with these guys, I'm going to invest not just to be a franchisee, but I'm going to pay more money and become a master franchise and get the rights to do my own thing. So I did that, and you know, we struggled and plodded along, and I was always paying my fees and had to pay shares of clients and things like that. I did okay, but then the company started getting worse and worse and worse. They couldn't spend money, they weren't paying their bills, and eventually, to cut a long story short, they went belly up, okay, they failed. So here's me going, well, I've paid all this money, and look, it wasn't a lot of money, it was about $100,000 Australian, but I thought, man, I've just lost $100,000 of my money from my family that we sort of could have used for something else, and what do I do now? So I had to rebrand myself and do it under my own name. So I did the last 3 years doing it independently with no structure of a franchise. So don't think it's impossible to fail. I went in there, and maybe in hindsight, look, I did a lot of research, I did a lot of due diligence, I met them dozens and dozens of times and went to the different places where they were, but it didn't work out. So it's not impossible to fail. A franchise business, and you hear stories around the world where franchise businesses fail, so you're not infallible. Okay, we talked about this a little bit before, but to be successful, all you have to do is follow the system. Man, that just magically happened without me pressing. All we have to do is follow the system. Again, people think, I bought this brand, I've got an operating manual, that's it, I can do it. It's not though. As I alluded to earlier, it's your business, you know, you need to make it happen. You you need to market, you need to do all the different things that we have for it. You've got to get the training, the recruitment, the inventory, the distribution, the reporting. Okay, the systems do exist. Okay, in a good franchise. A good franchise will give you the systems, but you have to use the systems. You have to follow the systems. Again, what a good franchise will do is they will actually ensure that you comply with the systems, ensure that you comply with the processes. So I've also heard of other franchises where they sell you the brand and you never hear from them again. Okay, and they just leave you all to your own devices, and eventually you either succeed on your own merits or you completely stuff up the brand and lose all your money. Okay, so you need a franchise that's going to hold you accountable. And I'll tell you what, Yum hold us accountable. You know, we have regular calls. I'm in Dubai every couple of weeks meeting with them. They come here. We have a franchisor, and look, and the other benefit is it helps having worked for the franchisor as well, so I understand how things work in the relationship. But you've got to have that franchisor to work with you, to hold you accountable, and to not just for accountable, but to partner with you. We have a saying of 1 + 1 = 3, okay, in the franchisor relationship pact. Now, it's not 2, it's 3. It should equal 3. We should be adding more value as two partners working together. And that will vary depending on whether you're in a master franchise environment. Okay, so if you've bought the rights to Pizza Hut in Pakistan and for the whole country, you're the master franchise. Okay, so that's where you have to put all the structures and things in place, and Yum should be managing that. If we sell a store as a sub-franchise, well, that support, all these things here, need to come from us as the master franchise. So depending on what type of franchise you're buying, if you're buying one store, you should be getting that support and that guidance and that direction from your master franchisee. Okay, so there's a little bit of a difference there. And again, you'll have good and you'll have bad. Okay, so let me give you a little bit of information about us. Okay, very quickly. And this is just on our story. You can go to the end of the slide. Okay, so we've been in Pakistan for coming into 25 years. Okay, so this is our 25th year. So we were the first international brand in Pakistan back in 1992 or 93, whatever the maths work out to be. We started in Boat Basin in Karachi. Okay, so this is our 25th year. Now, I've been involved with this business on and off, as I said, since 2002, and I've sort of known the owner for quite a while, and the previous owner, the guy who bought it here. But just want to give a couple of things, because the myth here is that the power of the brand will be my success. I've bought Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut should be successful. When we started, and there's lots, the reason I've got all the logos there is there's been just, the brand's evolved over the years, and most brands should. We've gone through, in some cases, 2 franchise terms, and we're into our 3rd. Our franchise terms are 10 years with a 10-year renewal option. So, we're in the 25th year, so we've already started into our next options with some stores. That rarely happens in a franchise. Usually people, after 20 years, they think, bugger this, I'm out. But we're in the process now of going into our 2nd franchise term. So, what was my point I was trying to make here? We grew, we started off small, got 6 or 8 stores, then we got to about 30 stores by the early 2000s. And being the first international brand, the first sort of company that brought pizza to Pakistan, we were a destination. Probably a lot of people here probably have childhood memories of going to Pizza Hut, and it was an occasion, it was a destination. Owen Road was like the first store here, and it's like an institution. I never got it because, personally, pizza's not my meal of choice, so I shouldn't be saying that. But it's, I'm not a Pizza Hut customer, okay? And probably most people in this room now are not Pizza Hut customers. We're not the demographic that we're trying to target. But everybody was. People would go there for dates. They'd go there for, parties, for family occasions, all those sorts of things. And we were probably sitting back, resting on our laurels, taking the rupees and putting them in our pocket and all those things, building. Then eventually they built a few more stores, but they hovered around the 30, 35 stores. Then the Iraq War happened, and they got a little bit distracted, and they went and put about 20 or 30 stores in Iraq and Afghanistan and made some good money. Okay, they made some good money. But what happened is, during all that time, and as things evolved, I came back to the business last year, and I was sort of shocked in what I'd seen for Pizza Hut. My Pizza Hut baby that I'd left in 2007 probably didn't look any different. Okay, so they were resting on the laurels of the brand and didn't probably reinvest in the brand as much as should have happened. And that, you see that happen with a lot of brands. KFC's probably gone through the same process, but they're also in the transformation process. So if you get a brand, a good franchise, again, will make you remodel after certain periods of time, upgrade to the latest image, upgrade to the latest brand positioning. So we rested on our laurels thinking that the power of the Pizza Hut name will get us through, but then competition comes in, we get everybody now sells pizza, prices start dropping, all those sorts of things, and all of a sudden one day you have a wake up and go, oh, holy crap, I better start doing something with my business. And we've seen the light, and we're sort of in that process now of, I guess, reinvigorating, re-evolving, upgrading, rebuilding. As I said, we've started development. They'd stopped development. They hadn't been building new stores, and that caused problems with the franchisor. Okay, so it's important they were being bad franchisees, basically, but now we're being good franchisees. But it takes time to influence and to change those things. So the brand does not automatically guarantee success. Okay, so that's another myth. The brand alone is no longer enough. It's got to be how you execute it locally and how you execute it within your market. Okay, another myth. I think I've got... my brand is my future. Okay, it's my brand, it's my future. I own the brand. Nobody can touch it. Okay, but this is Pakistan. So, do you reckon that's a Pizza Hut? No. Look, Pizza Hut. We found this store the other day. People are bastardising our brand. Okay, they're using our brand without any knowledge. The other thing that has happened here a few times since I've been here is people may have seen this, but we get these tweets and things sent out. So they're targeting McDonald's, KFC and Domino's, saying that we're using pork and all those sorts of things. These things go viral, but we can't control that. And they're all crap too, by the way. There's absolutely no chance that we're doing any of that stuff. But then you have to have a strategy. How do you respond to these things? And it's a challenge. We've got the problem here. This one up the top here is near my house here, and we've had the Yum legal team from Dallas write to them 3 occasions, and nothing's happened. I'm at the stage, I've been there once to try and talk to them, but no one spoke any any English, and that didn't go over very well. So I'm there going, oh yes, my like this, and nothing happened. But it's getting people to comply. The legal system here is not as advanced as it is in the West. Do this in Australia or in US or UK or maybe even Dubai, and these guys would be shut down in an instant. Here, no one cares. It's okay. So just because it's your brand, you've got to be aware and look out to see if anyone's trying to rip off your brand. Okay, another myth. It's a one-off cost and then money is mine. Go all the way to the bottom. We'll start coding time. Okay, it's not just that initial fee. Okay, keep going. It's not just that initial fee. Okay, you have to pay your master franchise costs, which could be, some people give it to you, but it could cost hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars or whatever. But then you've got to pay initial fees for new locations generally. Then you've got renewal fees for new stores as their franchise agreement comes up. You've got training fees, supply chain fees, marketing fees, licensing fees, in some cases software fees. You've got legal fees, you've got people, you've got wages, you've got product development. For us, I think I've been to Dubai about 6 times in the last sort of 4 weeks, in between a couple of trips back to Australia. So we're just constantly backwards, forwards, around the country. You spend so much money in addition to just that initial fee. Okay, so think about, again, do the research. You're having a business, you're buying a business, what are the other costs that they haven't told you about? How often am I expected to meet the franchisor? And if that franchisor is in America, does that mean that you have to go to America once or twice a year or 3 times a year? We have conferences and meetings all around the world that we're expected to go to. So those things add up. If you've got to send a team of 6 or 8 people to the US, it's a lot of money, okay? A lot of money. And all your head office. So check out what your actual costs are, because there's usually many of them. These last 3 here, I won't go through in detail, so you can just click through these. These were just in case I had extra time, but I'll keep moving for the benefit of time. Go to that last one. So look, just 3 more. People think that there's no way they can make any negotiation with the franchisee. Here's the contract, it's a legally binding document, and that's it. I've got to take it. That's not true. And I was in Australia last week, and I met with a friend who owns 3 coffee shops as a franchise. He just bought his 3rd, and they're all fairly close to each other, and he wanted to meet me. And he said, Tony, look, you know, I've just bought these 3 and I'm starting to get some cannibalisation in sales on my other 2 units. You know, what can I do? Can I talk to the franchisee about this? You know, do you think they'll be able to help me? And he said, what can I do? And he said, can I do anything? I said, well, you can. I said, but first of all, you're an idiot, because you should have had this discussion before you built store number 2, before you built store number 3. He paid $400,000 for this basic coffee shop concept, and he's bought 3 of them. And the store, I reckon I could build it for about $50. You know, it's crap. He's been absolutely shafted by these guys. And I said, you need to negotiate beforehand rather than post. You know, I was in Dubai on the weekend, we're negotiating with Yum for something that's going to fundamentally change our business. And we've been backwards and forwards, and we actually have the franchisor, you know, working with us on, is that what time? I'm nearly finished. I'll have less than that. We actually have the franchisor negotiating with us on behalf of, to Dallas, on behalf of our own business. So that's not true. They're not just turnkey businesses. As I said, there's a whole lot of pre-work that you need to do before that. And franchisees have franchises have a lower risk than independent businesses. That too is not true, okay? If you're buying a master franchise, you have so much more capital investment and other costs compared to me just opening up Tony's Pizza Shop. Okay, so it's important to make sure that you look at all the costs, because these are all myths. Last 2 slides. Okay, do your research, okay? And if you don't do your research, the result may potentially be that your new franchise is dead. So, guys, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Tony.